Today's big question is, how do you build muscle mass in your arms? And in this video, we're going to give you the answers. Hey, I'm Andy Clements, and I've spent the last decade relentlessly pursuing the best ways to naturally build as much muscle and strength as possible. And today I want to share with you my best tips for growing your arms that help to take me from the skinny kid you see here to the slightly less skinny kid you see here. I struggled for years to put size on my arms, trying everything I could find online to break through my plateau, but nothing seemed to work. Until one day I suddenly realised the mistake I was making, and you're probably making it too. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes, but first I want to share with you some of the fundamentals of arm training that I've used to successfully put size on my arms and size on the hundreds of guys that I've coached over the years' arms as well. First off is frequency. A huge part of growing your arms and of growing any muscle in general is frequency. The more often you can expose a muscle, arms included, to the stimulus of training and still recover from that training, the quicker that you'll be able to grow that muscle. So if you're just doing one dedicated arm day a week and no other training on your arms whatsoever, the likelihood is that you're not exposing your arms, your biceps and triceps to enough stimulus to really help them grow. Now, I'm not suggesting you get rid of your dedicated arm day. I'm actually a proponent of keeping the arm day in if you're really wanting to bring the arms up. But what I would suggest is that you switch to maybe an upper-lower split and add in some volume on your arms on the 2 upper days as well. So then you're going to get 3 little mini training sessions on your arms every single week, or 2 mini training sessions and 1 big arm day. So you might do 2 upper days and 2 lower days in your overall training split per week. And on the end of the upper day, you'll do a couple of sets of bicep curls, a couple of sets of tricep pushdowns or skull crushers or something on each upper day, just to bump the volume up a little bit. And then you will do a dedicated arm day where you'll really blast it with volume. Next up, we've got to look at the actual exercise selection that we are choosing for our arms. And we're going to start with triceps. Now, triceps make up the bulk of the arm. They're bigger muscle than biceps, and they are 70% fast twitch muscle fibers. So essentially what that means is the triceps respond better on a whole to big, heavy, explosive movements. Now, there's 2 key movements, or at least types of movements, that I would suggest you include to compensate for this heavy, fast twitch muscle fiber load in the triceps. The first of those is tricep dips, and the second of those is a close grip bench press. Now, you can do variations on that. You can do like machine dips, or you could do a Smith machine tricep press, or even a tricep push-up if you've got some load to put on or some bands to help you load it. But the key is to make sure you're doing something that's heavy, at least heavy for you, because loading is all relative, right? We're not all Eddie Hall. But what we can do is we can load up the triceps in those 2 frames of movement, because they are the 2 exercises, or 2 types of exercises, that are best suited to really load up and build some strength through the triceps on. I wouldn't only do them kinds of moves as triceps though. I would also accessorize with fully lengthened range movements such as skull crushers and overhead extensions when you're right up here, and fully contracted movements such as tricep pushdowns or cable kickbacks where you're right back there, to really just complement the heavy lifting and to work both ends of the strength curve where you're fully stretched and lengthened and you're fully contracted and shortened on the other side. Now, for biceps, every time you train your biceps, I think it's important that you hit at least 2 different kinds of curls. The first is a fully supinated curl, which means your palms facing the ceiling. That's going to really hit the meaty part of your bicep the further you turn your palm up to the ceiling there. The second is a slightly half supinated or hammer grip curl, or a pronated or reverse grip curl. So these 2 movements, these 2 positions here, more focus on the width and the thickness of your arm by hitting the brachialis, the brachioradialis, on the muscles that go down into the forearm. So I think it's important to hit both of those kinds of curls each time you train your biceps. Now, at the start of this video, I promised you the major key to arm training, and if you've got to this part of the video, you're probably thinking, yeah, but Andy, I've tried all that stuff. I've tried training my arms all the time. I've tried changing the exercises, all that kind of stuff, but I still can't grow my arms. And if that's what you thinking, then this part of the video is for you. The major key to arm training is execution of movement. Now, that's not big, that's not flashy, that's not sexy, that's not going to sell many magazines, but it's absolutely true and it's absolutely accurate. You can have the best program in the world, you can do all the right exercises, you can get all the frequency, you can get everything else in, but if you do not perform movements properly and you just train like a moron, swinging your weights around and flopping around like that wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man on Family Guy, then you aren't going to grow your arms. Now, the key to execution of movement with arm training lies slightly strangely in the shoulder, not actually in the arm, because the shoulder is what controls your stability and your bracing, and that's what dictates whether you will actually put tension through the arms or you will put tension through the shoulders and through the back and through the bloody calves and whatever else, right? So what I would suggest is trying to make sure that you stabilize and brace your shoulder joint before every single arm movement that you do. So if you're doing a bicep curl, it might help to drill your shoulder blades back and down into a wall or something behind you so that you can fully focus on keeping the shoulders stable and just curling from the elbow joint, because the biceps in particular, their only function is to flex the elbow. They have no function at the shoulder here. The more you move the shoulder around in its socket, the more you're just going to be working the shoulder muscles and not the bicep. So make sure that you find ways to stabilize your shoulder, whether you need to do that externally by drilling back down into something, or you can just really focus on keeping it stable and then working the arms in isolation, whether it's biceps or triceps or muscles of the forearm or whatever it is. So there we have it. Those are your key points for arm training. Growing your arms, even if they're completely skinny, they've got no muscle on them whatsoever, you've been trying for years or months or however long you've been trying. If you follow those keys, you will start to see some progress and you will start to see some growth in your arms, I guarantee it. I really hope that video helped. I hope it was useful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed it and it was valuable, please give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe, because we are releasing new videos on building muscle and strength naturally every single week. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys, and I'll see you next time.